Alright everybody, welcome back to Dan WrestleFan, and it's that time. It's time to do probably the hardest prediction video we've ever had to do. It is WrestleMania prediction time. This one's gonna be tough because I've got a lot of wild theories. I also have a lot of personal feelings in some matches, so let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with the tag team matches, because to me these are just absolutely useless and boring. This is why I hate WrestleMania being 2 nights, because you get matches that make no sense. There's no build, no story, no importance, no relevance. It's just, hey, let's just get some more superstars out there. Fine, whatever. I just don't like WrestleMania being 2 nights. Maybe I'm an old timer. I miss the one night WrestleMania that was like 6-7 hours or whatever, but everything meant something. So anyway, enough of that, let's get into it. First we have the Street Profits versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders versus Alpha Academy. And it's really no question. I think Street Profits are going to win this. Possibly Braun and Ricochet maybe have a chance, but I don't see them staying together as a tag team much longer. I think with Alpha Academy, Otis is kind of going off doing his Maximum Male Models thing now, so maybe that team's kind of breaking up. The Viking Raiders, obviously a good... Wait, hold on. We couldn't see Ivar back there. Viking Raiders, obviously a good tag team. They have a chance here, maybe, but there's no implications or anything. I think the Street Profits have the momentum. I also heard a rumor that they're possibly breaking this team up so Montez can have a solo act. That doesn't mean they're going to fall out or anything, but I think, I think the Street Profits get this win here at WrestleMania, have their big moment. Everyone gets, a chance to compete. Possibly Viking Raiders, possibly having my backup team to pick, but I think it's Street Profits. That's what I'm locking in. On to the next one. Alright, next I want to get the women's tag team match out of the way, because again, these are just kind of pointless, useless match. Not useless, I don't know. That just don't make sense to me. Anyways, we've got Shotzi and Natalya as a team, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville as a team, Raquel Rodriguez, is that it now, or is she still Raquel Gonzalez? Whatever she is, and Liv Morgan as a team, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler as a team. Again, this one to me is pretty simple. I think Raquel and Liv, it's the team that has the most momentum behind them. While I do think Ronda is the biggest star out of this group, I just don't think that team has the momentum that Raquel and Liv have. Just Shayna doesn't have the momentum behind her. Again, these matches don't really matter too much. I don't think Chelsea Green and Sonya are going to win. I don't think Shotzi and Natalya have a chance. I think it comes down to Ronda and Shayna versus Raquel and Liv. I personally just think that Raquel and Liv have more momentum behind them, so I think that would make sense to, wrap the season up, because WrestleMania is the end of a season. You're wrapping everything up, getting ready to start the new season. Monday after WrestleMania, that first Raw is going to be the new season of WWE, and Triple H is going to be able to show what he wants to do with his new season, because he took over in, SummerSlam, I think? He took over around that time, so he hasn't had a full year to run the show the way he wants to. He hasn't been able to do his season, so I think it's simply going to be whatever Triple H decides, we're going to get into a bunch of title changes coming up, but I here and now, I think Raquel and Liv are going to go over. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Alright, on to the Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I don't have a Logan Paul figure, and instead of using a picture, since The Miz kind of brought him into all this crap, I think, we go ahead and use The Miz as our stand-in Logan Paul. They're kind of the same. Anyway, this match, man, I don't know. I'm mixed because I have a lot of feel-good moment matches predicted, so I feel like this could be one of them. I know Logan Paul's contract is up, and everyone's been talking about that. So I think Seth Rollins wins this one, but I could also make the argument that Logan Paul wins. I just gut feeling think, he got screwed over in Elimination Chamber by Logan Paul. He's been this monkey on his back for how many months now. I think Seth just goes out, wins it. Seth Rollins is arguably the best wrestler in WWE right now. I mean, he's got the mic skills down. He's got the wrestling skills down. He can win a crowd over. He can turn a crowd. Like, he can do everything that a wrestler should be able to do. He's the complete package. So I think he is literally the best thing in WWE right now. I don't know, I'm battling with myself. I'm torn on this, but I think Seth Rollins will pick up the win here over Logan Paul, and that will end that. On to the next one. Okay, we've got Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. This has been building for a long time, and I think this is another one, man. I could go either way on this one, because I could see Dominic winning and this setting up a feud that lasts for a while. Like, he comes out, he wins, he gets that cocky, arrogant, like, hey, I beat a Hall of Famer, I'm the greatest, Mysterio. I could really see that. I could see this whole cocky Dominic, and that could set up to, I'd love to see a 2 out of 3 matches. Have Rey versus Dom here at Mania, then do like a hair versus mask match, and then Dominic gets his head shaved when Rey beats him, and then you go into SummerSlam with like a final, like, let's end the feud, last man standing match, and Rey beats the crap out of him there. Or a 2 out of 3 falls or something. I don't know. Do something like fun and big in WrestleMania or in SummerSlam to end it up. I think that would be awesome. You know what? I'm doing that. I'm going with Dominic over. Originally, I was going to say Rey over Dom, but now I want to see that. So that's more of my fantasy booking. So I want to see Dominic win now. I don't know, man. I'm so torn. Let me fantasy book this, and WWE just let me book like 6 months of wrestling for you, and see what I can come up with, because I think that would be, I would love to see it, man. I'd love to see that. I also can make the argument, Rey getting into the Hall of Fame, he's tired of the disrespect from Dominic. He finally, just beats down Dominic, teaches him a lesson, is like, hey, you're not disrespecting the family anymore. Man, there's 2 sides to the same coin. I can see the argument for both. I think I'm going to, because there's so many feel-good moments coming up, I think Dominic wins this. I think he goes out and gets a win. He doesn't have a ton of wins, especially in pay-per-views. So I think it's time he goes out, he gets a win over his dad. Kind of gets that cockiness about him. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to stick with Dominic. Let's move on to the next one. All right, let's talk about the match that I care the absolute least about. Even more so than, like, the tag matches that don't make sense to me, but let's talk about this one. I don't care about this match at all because I don't think there's any sort of stipulation to it, so I just don't care. Obviously it makes sense for Brock Lesnar to win this. I don't think Omas really, I don't know, man, I know WrestleMania used to be like the old guys go over the young guys and, whatever, but now I think it's changing a little more so that the young guys are going over the old guys, kind of like, hey, here's your rite of passage, you're in now. But I don't like this one because there's no stipulation to it. I just don't see Omas having a chance without any sort of stipulation. I think this is, it could go either way, I suppose, but I think this is a Brock Lesnar win, hands. I think Omas goes out and Brock Lesnar wins it, unless I just don't know how you make Brock Lesnar still look good if he loses to Omas in this match. You can't retain any character credibility. He's not going to stay tough if he loses to Omas in a regular match. I just don't see it happening. So I think this is not going to be a very long match, that's for sure. But I think Brock Lesnar wins this one. Let's get to the next one. Now, this match is one that I don't know, man. I could be the most excited for this match because I love Finn Balor. He's my favorite current superstar. I love Edge. He was one of my, like, all-time favorites back in the day when I was a kid watching it wrestling growing up. So, anytime I get to see these two fight is just... I mean, it's just magic for me, man. I love watching these two. And the fact that they're doing a Hell in the Cell and we're getting the Demon Finn Balor, that's a whole nother level of scary for Edge. I mean, it's Demon Finn as opposed to regular Finn. I think Finn wins this one clean. I mean, not clean. You know what I mean. So this is, I feel like, more of a one-sided match to me because I think this one, I mean, you've got, what, 49-year-old Edge and 41-year-old Finn. So you got two old guys going at it. So it's not like, you know, you've got a young guy to put over here. But I think, dude, it's a Hell in the Cell match with the Demon. The Demon doesn't lose those matches. Last time we saw Demon was, when he fought Roman Reigns for the title. And he almost had that one, but that was, I mean, the Demon he doesn't lose. Of course, any match, though, with Roman Reigns, you know, there's always something going on behind the scenes. But, yeah, I think Demon Finn wins this because you got to get some heel victories in. And with the matches I have coming up, I just don't see a ton of heel victories this WrestleMania. But I think this is one that puts an end to this story. You know, the Judgment Day stands strong with Finn as their leader, kind of like a defining moment to say, hey, we made the right call with Finn as the leader. We don't need Edge anymore. Maybe Edge digs down afterwards and, you know, finds that rated R superstar and brings that gimmick back. Who's to say? I mean, I think Edge has potential to do more after this. I mean, I really hope this isn't his last WrestleMania. I guess it could be, but I hope it's not. I hope he's got, you know, at 50 years old, comes out for, like, one more WrestleMania and does something mega then. But I'd love to see him, like, revert back to rated R superstar after this loss. Like, that teaches him something. He wakes up and is like, hey, it's time. But anyway, that's what I think. Let's go on to the next one. All right, let me start by saying I love Damage Control. I think this is one of the greatest groups in WWE right now. And now let me tell you why they're going to lose. The belts are not on the line. At first, I was going to say Damage Control is going to win this because the tag belts are on the line. They're not on the line. Unless that changes tonight in SmackDown or whatever. But tag championships are not on the line last I saw. So I don't think that Damage Control is going to win, because why are you going to bring back Lita and Trish Stratus to lose at WrestleMania when nothing's on the line? Like, nothing matters. Nothing counts here. There's nothing on the line. I think Damage Control just gets stomped. Becky finally gets that revenge she's been looking for. They've been trapping her and baiting her. Well, she's been baiting them, but then they've been springing traps every single step they could. So I think this is the night where Becky finally just gets that revenge on Bayley and Damage Control. I think this is the, one of the feel-good stories of the night, or one of the nights, rather. So I just don't think there's much argument to this one. You don't bring Lita and Trish Stratus back, two of the greatest women's legends ever in wrestling, to lose at WrestleMania for when nothing's on the line. It just doesn't happen. Now, if that changes tonight and, the titles are on the line, then I think we switch. I think, I think Damage Control comes out and they win this. But without titles on the line, man, I just don't see why Damage Control would win. But anyway, that's what I think. I'm going with the experience here with Becky, Lita, and Trish. All right, let's talk championships. I saved all these for the end. That way we could do all our championships and title changes and everything here all at the end and just kind of get it all at one part of the video. First, we've got John Cena versus Austin Theory for the U.S. Championship. Now, what I'd love to see happen, I'd love to see Cena win this. I'd love to see Cena take the U.S. Championship off of Theory, show up on Raw, have an open challenge, maybe keep Cena around for a couple weeks and then someone defeats him, on an episode of Raw in an open challenge. That's what I'd love to see. Fantasy booking me says, this is what we're doing. Let's do it. Give John Cena the win. That'd be huge because no one would see it coming. It's like, oh man, he's just back for a little bit, so he's not going to win this. No one would see that coming. You give him the belt. Boom, off to Raw he goes. The next night or the following week he loses the championship and then goes back and does his Hollywood stuff. That's what I'd love to see happen. Fantasy booking me would book it that way, but I don't think it's going to happen. We've got to get the heel wins. Before we get all these feel-good wins come up, we've got to get our heel victories. I think this is an Austin Theory over Cena. He kind of gets his bragging rights a little bit, kind of helps solidify the year he's had and everything. Maybe this is his validation here. So that's, I think Theory's going to win this one. Sadly, I hate saying that too, especially over John Cena, man. This is the GOAT. I just don't, if it wasn't scripted, this is John Cena all day. But, you gotta go with what you think is gonna be the right call. I just think that Theory's gonna win this. I don't like it, but that's what I think's gonna happen. On to the next one. All right, I've been talking about the feel-good stories. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about a feel-good story. You've got 3 men, all very capable of winning this match for the Intercontinental Championship. 3 men that are all very capable, very good athletes. In Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew McIntyre. But only one of them can walk out as Intercontinental Champion. And I think we get our first feel-good story here. Sheamus walks out as champion. Gunther, no, I think they're going to push Gunther towards something bigger. I think Gunther is going to be going for like the world title soon. So I think Sheamus walks out. This is the only championship that's eluded him. If he wins this, he's a Grand Slam champion. I think he does it. I think he wins the Intercontinental Championship. And Sheamus of the Brawling Brutes. I think Drew McIntyre takes the fall no matter who wins. I think Drew takes the fall. I just don't think Drew really has much of a shot in this one. And nothing against Drew. The other two have been pushed so much and so well. I just don't think that you kill the momentum with them. I think that's why Drew's in this. Drew's going to take the fall. I think Sheamus is going to get the victory. Sheamus is going to walk out your new Intercontinental Champion. All right, next we've got Asuka versus Bianca Belair. And this one is, I don't know, man. This one's a little tough. Because I don't know if I want to change another championship. I don't know if I want another title to change hands here. But at the same time, we got to get those heel wins. So I think I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with Asuka. I think she's going to go in and get this win. Man. You know what? No, I'm changing. I'm going back. Bianca's going to retain. We've got to have some titles retained here. So I think Bianca's going to retain this. And when we get further into the title predictions, I'll show you why I'm going to have Bianca retain. I like Asuka in this. My gut's telling me Asuka, but my head's saying just go with Bianca. It's a safe bet. Just lock it down. So we're going to go with Bianca to retain because we can't have like almost all the titles change hands, right? Like I already got IC title changing hands. US is going to stay. I think Raw Women's Championship is going to stay because everything else is going to change. I think. I don't know. We'll get into it. But anyway, I think Bianca's going to retain this one. I'm torn on this, but we're going to go with Bianca. All right, next we've got the Undisputed Tag Team Championships that the Usos have, taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. You guys already know, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I've been talking about this one for a little bit with like friends and co-workers and everything. We've been talking about this, and Sammy and Kevin have come so close. This is finally time. No Roman around to interfere. Well, I mean, I guess he's around because this is going to be night 1. But Potentially no Roman and Solo to mess this up. Sammy and KO together, stronger than ever. You know, you gotta love it. But the Usos, it's finally time they lose, right? I mean, we know they're dominant tag team champions. It's finally time they lose. Time to, move the belts on. The Bloodline is, I don't know about what you guys think, but I am so sick of the Bloodline story now. It's just, since, like, the Sammy fallout, I've just gotten so bored with it. And it's just feels repetitive and, like, mundane again. It feels like it did, like, pre-Sammy. Before Sammy joined, I was starting to get so bored with it. I was losing interest in it. And now without Sammy there again, it's just like, I don't know. I'm just getting bored with it again, I feel like. Because there's not enough to really keep that going for me. So I think this is a long overdue. Kevin Owens and Sammy finally teaming up, take down the Bloodline, and we finally see the Bloodline start to break. Sammy and Kevin Owens are your new tag team champions. Alright, here we've got another title change. I think this one was quite simple. Everyone probably saw this one coming a mile away. But obviously Charlotte took the Flair. Yeah, she did. Charlotte Flair took the title off of Ronda just to get the title off of Ronda Rousey. And just to give her another championship run, I guess. But they didn't have much plans for her to stay champion. So I think obviously this is going to be a very clear Rhea Ripley setup, win, finish, champion. Maybe she moves on from Judgment Day at this point. It depends on how the other matches go. If Finn loses and Dominic loses, maybe she moves on from Judgment Day. Like, I don't need you. I'm better than this, and kind of moves on and carves her own path. If Finn wins and Dominic win, maybe they stay together and like, hey, good, now we've got some gold on our team. Maybe I don't know, Finn goes after the U.S. Championship or something, takes on Austin Theory. Who knows? I mean, sky's the limit. You could do so much and then start getting that whole faction some gold. And once Sammy and KO win, then they'll have the tag champs. And hopefully we can separate them again instead of this unified crap. Putting 6 championships on 3 guys is the stupidest idea. Especially, well, it's not. But for as long as they did it, I feel like that was the stupidest idea. I can't stand it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, my last thing. If you do want to do that, I'm okay with it. Just don't have it go on for like 3 months tops. 4 months if you really want to stretch it out. But after that, like, it's boring. It hurts the brand so much, I feel like. At least that's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I think Rhea Ripley gets this win over Charlotte. Maybe moves on to bigger, better things. Maybe stays with the Judgment Day. But I think this is obviously going to be a clear Rhea win. Now, let's get to that main event. Alright guys, the hands down hardest prediction to do in this entire video is this one right here, the main event. This is the most 50-50 of all the 50-50s that we've just guessed so far. Of all the 50-50s we tried to predict, this is hands down the most difficult. But my gut tells me Cody Rhodes. It's the perfect feel-good story. It's a great way for Triple H to establish that he's running the show now. Like, this is my show. Here's my champion. Cody Rhodes walks out with the titles. Again, for the love of God, let's separate them so that we don't have one guy with 2 titles for another 2-3 years. But at the same time, you can't bet. It's so hard to bet against Roman because of the push and everything. I don't know, man. Like, I think Cody should win this. Give Roman a break. Give him some time off. Let him go. Let the bloodline dissolve and kind of fade out. Give all those guys a break. Let them go relax for a bit and come back. Maybe Roman has a face turn and comes back. I mean, he does better heel work, but I'm not really much of a fan of his work at all without his supporting staff. So without having like support and everything, man, I don't know. This is tough. This is a tough one to predict, because now I'm starting to, like, book things out in my head. It's like, okay, if Roman comes back with a heel turn, he works with the Usos, and they take on Judgment Day, like, that would be cool as shit. But I don't know. Like, it's how do you... It's so tough, man. I'm going to stick with my gut. We're going to go Cody Rhodes. It's a nice feel-good story. It ends WrestleMania with this perfect feel-good story of, hey, Cody's back, baby. He's a WWE guy. He was born and raised here. He left to go on quote-unquote vacation. And then he comes back from his quote-unquote vacation. And he's a new man. He's the American Nightmare. He's stepped out of his father's shadow. This is Cody Rhodes now we're talking about. No longer Dusty Rhodes' son. This is Cody Rhodes. Yeah, man, I think Cody Rhodes wins it. It has to be Cody. Because if Cody doesn't win... Now, I've said this in like every predictions video. And every single time... I mean, I've been right and wrong because I guessed the wrong person, but I was right with the character getting killed on their push. If Cody doesn't win, all that momentum's gone. Where does he, like, what do you do? You just went for the world title, you lost. All the momentum, everything you just had going into WrestleMania, it's all killed, it's dead. You came back, you got your torn pec, you got it repaired, you're surgically repaired. You come back to the Royal Rumble, you win it. You battled the bloodline, faced everyone to get to Roman. If you lose at Roman... What do? Keep the titles on Roman another year? Build Cody back up, and then WrestleMania next year he challenges Roman again to win? Man, it's just such a long time. And I can't imagine there wouldn't be someone else that comes along that can't beat Roman in that point. But hey, whatever. That's neither here nor there. I'm overthinking this. I gotta just not overthink it. So let's be simple here. Cody Rhodes wins. Roman Reigns goes into WrestleMania as a historic first time ever that a champion is going into WrestleMania with the same belt under one reign. I think I worded that wrong. But Roman's the first champion to have the Universal Championship under this one reign without losing it. He's the first person to ever go to WrestleMania 3 times defending that title. So that's impressive enough on its own. But I think Cody goes in, he gets the win here, he becomes your new undisputed Universal WWE Champion, and then we can finally break these belts up, and Cody can go out and lose one at SummerSlam and still be champion with the other one. Finally break this up and end all this nightmare. But anyway, guys, that's my predictions video. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? What's going to happen? You guys... Okay, I'm wrong. Paul Heyman's going to be your new Universal WWE Undisputed Champion, baby.